Hi, and welcome to the Unreal Engine News and Community Spotlight. Got a lot of sweet items going on this week. So first of all, we announced our Nvidia Edge winners for the month of February. We had 3 really amazing projects. It was Despoiler by Parallax Labs. They made this arena racer. You're racing around on hovercrafts and completing team objectives with your buddies. They're actually looking for beta testers right now, so if you're interested, follow the link that'll take you to their game and get in on that. We also have Azure Living by Elsewhere Experience. A team of 2 fellows are making games, but a lot of architectural visualizations, and they're absolutely stunning. They're also the folks that brought you Unreal Paris, so definitely go take a look at those projects. And Horror Game by Bart van Gemert. He set up some really beautiful scenes. There's this river creek with a kayak, and it's super creepy looking, and I can't wait to check it out once he makes some more progress on that. So great job, and always keep submitting your projects. We love seeing all the amazing stuff that you were able to create, and we wanna see them and send you a graphics card. Who doesn't want that, right? Second up, we have Rodgers. So Slipgate Studios has actually released this title on consoles. It's been available on PC, but they've released a huge update for that as well. Rodgers is a 90s era platformer. They were really inspired by Mega Man and like Duke Nukem games back in the day. So you're hanging out with Rad, who's gotten sucked into a TV, and now he's hanging out with Dusty, his sentient console buddy, who's got a little bit of a foul mouth, and you go through these adventures through a difficult game, and it's really cool. And if you want to read up on it, we have a nice interview with them that kind of talk about their inspirations and things like that. We're also really pumped for Mutant Year Zero by the Bearded Ladies. They announced their game just earlier this week. It should be coming out later this year. It's very reminiscent of XCOM with some additional story and adventure to it, but you've got a whole team of mutants. In this case, you've got a duck, a pig, this woman who's got shape-shifting skin, and it's a stunning game. It's very beautiful, and I'm really excited to see where they take it. And last but not least, we have a nice white paper that has been released about the Fortnite cinematic trailer. So if you're curious about how we've achieved real-time cinematics or what that pipeline looks like, there's this whole document talking about that process, how those production concepts can improve your workflow and speed it up and all that. So go read up. It's a really nice piece that they've put together for you. Onto our weekly karma. These folks are rocking and crushing and answering your questions to help out their fellow community managers. So we have, community folks, we have Thompson N13, Amph Dev, Charlie Be Good, Jen BE, Nebula Games Inc., Shadow River, Zlarator, TX2Line, Tyler Gouch, and Zombie2. You guys are killing it. Thank you so much. So our first community spotlight is a game called The Beast Inside. So it's a horror thriller adventure game where you're actually playing 2 characters that are set in different times. So you're kind of going back and forth. Adam's a CIA cryptanalyst who moves to this new house, and the second character is actually Nicholas, who came back to his home after a decade, and you're kind of bouncing back and forth. I think the game looks really awesome. They actually have our Kickstarter campaign going on where you can get a whole lot more details and see their plans for the game. So go take a look. It's The Beast Inside. Our second community spotlight project is a character demo reel. He's put together this scene of Dain Ironfoot, as you may be familiar from The Hobbit, but we just thought he did a really wonderful job putting this character together and setting up his whole scene here. And he's actually done some really nice breakdowns. If you visit his ArtStation page, he broke down how the shaders are set up, his layered materials, just sort of how he's blocked out the characters. He also has a nice interview with 80 Level where he goes in depth into a lot of those things. So go take a look, and this great job. It looks so good. Our third and final spotlight goes to Ronnie, who's an animator at Deep Rock Galactic. So he shared some of his animations created in Sequencer for the game is Deep Rock Galactic, and it's a really amazing game that they're working on. You're these minor characters, you're these dwarves with guns attacking these glyphids and spiders and things. And we actually did a nice showcase on these where we've talked to the whole team and sort of their inspirations for the co-op elements and what they were hoping to create out of their game and how like going with this low poly style helped them in a lot of areas of development. But really wanted to showcase his animations and character setups here. And yeah, go check out the showcase. Go see his stuff on the forums. It's pretty sweet. So thank you for joining us for our news and community spotlight. Hey, and welcome to the Unreal Engine livestream. I'm your host, Amanda Bott, and with me I have Ben Mears, the Games Community Manager over at Side Effects. Thanks for joining in, Ben. Oh, whoop, one sec. Sorry, we can't hear you. You're in stealth mode.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay. Hey, Amanda. Great to be here, as
Yeah.
always.
Thank you so much again for joining us. Unfortunately, Nick Honegger of Assembla couldn't join us. Apparently, they've decided to do construction outside of his building, so if he joined the call, it would just be all kinds of random noises
Drills.
and horribleness. So he opted to not partake today, but maybe next time. But we're certainly glad to have him on board and helping with the judging process and all that. So, yeah, we've had a lot of games. It was over 120 submissions, and you all crushed this on Thin Ice theme. Like, we were constantly blown away. I loved watching all the development that you had going on, that you all shared with us on Twitter. I couldn't believe all the different things coming through and just like what you're able to make in just a few days. Like, you guys kill it every time. I just love it.
Yeah, it's always amazing for sure. And it was cool to see all the different takes on the theme of Thin Ice. Definitely, of course, lots of snow and glaciers and stuff like that. But some people took it a different way. So
Yeah, there were
great job, everybody who participated.
handful of dodgy situations where it's like, oh, maybe this is just,
Yeah.
you're on thin ice, as in like, oh, maybe I'm in a bad place. Or, and as you can see, we've got the video playing. It's a sample of anyone that submitted videos to us. We tossed into this video that we've got sharing. And I tend to toss it up later in case you want to relook at it or give it a watch. So, yeah, we're really thrilled to be here. A couple things. Well, you wanted to give a real quick update from the world of
Yeah, we
Side
should do
Effects?
that. Yes, so Houdini stuff coming up. We're going to be at GDC again, of course. So if you'll be at GDC at the end of this month, come by, find the Side Effects booth. There'll be a lot of cool talks going on there. I think we're actually neighbors to the Unreal Engine booth. I
Yeah, I
think
think
we're like
you're
right diagonal
right there
from
with
each other.
us.
So
We'll just wave at
if
each
you
other
can
the whole time.
find, yeah, if you can find one of our booths, you should be able to find the other one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come check us out if you'll be at GDC. Another big thing is that there was some updates made to Houdini Indy recently. There is now, Houdini Indy now supports a 4K render resolution, which it didn't before.
Nice.
Another really cool thing is that basically now if you buy Houdini Indy, you get 2 licenses instead of 1. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1 thing. I'd had tons of game developers asking me like, oh, can I get a second license for my laptop because my license is on my desktop or whatever. You have one at home, one at work. So now Side Effects has opened it up. So if you buy 1 license, you actually get 2. So that shouldn't be an issue for people anymore. Other quick things, there's a new UV Flatten Node. So anybody who's done any kind of UVing work knows that it can be a big pain in the butt. So Houdini's making that easier now with some updated UV tools. And then kind of the least exciting one, but still should be mentioned, is an FBX update. So basically just making FBX better from Houdini to other programs. And I think that's it for now. So yeah, that's the stuff on the Houdini front.
All the things. Those sound like really
Yeah.
fantastic improvements, though, especially
Yeah, it's a great
being able
update.
to
So check it out.
have multiple workstations and those sorts of things. So,
Yeah, for sure.
so while we're on the whole sponsors, thank you so much for contributing indie licenses to
Yeah, of
Game
course.
Jam or Game Jam winners, and even the trial licenses for those folks that wanted just a few months right at the beginning. We also want to give a huge shout out to some of our other sponsors. If I could pull them up real quick, that'd be okay. So we always want to give a huge shout out to Intel. They're a big, wonderful partner of ours, and they have this amazing game dev program. I know this page doesn't look particularly exciting, but it's full of a lot of really great information. I'm talking about how to get it's a marketing guide for you. They have state of the industry, but they also have a lot of wonderful resources on just how to promote your game, how to get shared, and they want to support you. So if you may have seen the sign up in the submission form, but if you didn't opt in then, always go check those guys out. They're super supporters, and we're just really excited to have them on board with us. Additionally, we have a lot of really wonderful community sponsors this time around. So Low Entry, he has a lot of nice plugins that are available that he's provided some for our winners. I want to give it a shout out to Silver Tim, or TM, who's got lots of amazing environment packs, props packs, just real nice high quality work. Panda Studios, again, with her notification kits and economy and interaction, lots of neat stuff here. W3 Studios, there's a lot of textures, particle effects. They have the sweet vector field builder. And a shout out to Whitman and Olbert with their low poly packs that are just always outstanding. I love seeing the different environments and people leveraging those packs. So lots of great sponsors. Again, huge shout out to Assembla for joining us. They offer the Perforce or source control platform servers for you to leverage during your game jam. So we really love having those on board. It definitely makes game development much easier, and hopefully for those maybe less familiar with source control, it's a good way for you to get in and learn and kind of use it for the first time, or get established and get a good feel for how it helps during development when you have a crisis and your game breaks and you're like, how do I go back? Having
that can be crucial.
is really, really important. So, yeah, I guess we could get into playing some of these games.
Yeah, we probably should do that, right?
Maybe. So, as we mentioned, there's been a lot of really awesome work. It's always hard to narrow down and establish our finalists and winners. So our first special category that we'll be talking about is the VR category, the something reality, because it can be in any number of different types of reality, whatever. So real quickly, our special category winners, again, are going to get a Houdini license, all of the current low entry packs that you saw us bring up, any one asset from Silver TM, 2 assets from Panda Studios, any one from W3, and 2 of Whitman and Olbert's packs, plus an engine swag pack, which is usually a t-shirt and a couple of little small things. So first off, the VR category. Da-da-da-da-da. We don't have quite the same. I feel like I need a drummer back here. We wanted to award Hot Dog Studios Raining Penguins VR. Could you play that video for us? So I just had an absolute blast playing this game. It looks really wonderfully set up. So you've got the little penguin. This is their video that they submitted of their gameplay. So you have this little penguin that's just trying to do his fishing thing, and your objective, you're trying to get collect as many fish as possible. So he's just doing his thing, fishing, and you need to protect all this ice that he's out there floating on. So you have these other penguins marching in. It starts with only the 2 trails, but eventually there's at least like 5 or 6 different paths of penguins coming at you. And so you can see him reaching up. He's setting these like little traps that hurt the penguins that jump down. But you'll see they'll successfully land, and they make a lot of really funny sounds. They're like, "Wah!" as they fly away. Um, but if they land on the ice flow in the middle, they'll break like one of the sets, and he'll show it. Let him jump. Um, but yeah, you can knock out all these penguins, and you can eventually get to the point where you can set more penguins out so that you're fishing even faster. But real quick, he'll jump and he knocks it out. And I love
Yeah.
how they'll go fix it. So they do their business and
Um,
they rebuild this
are
ice
they?
flow. It's
How
like, oh,
exactly are they fixing it?
let's not worry about it. You can see what they're doing
It
there.
works.
So
Yeah.
it's just really quirky. I thought it was. It's enough. It's fast paced. It's interesting and very engaging. There's a lot of good humor, and it's set up really nicely. So great job to that team. We had just a blast playing through this project. I also wanted to give a shout out to the guys that did Ice Glider VR because that one was a lot of fun. And you're basically, you're on this giant sled slamming, like we were literally laying on the floor and like tilting, dodging rocks, and that was a lot of fun as well. But so great job them. But we Raining Penguins VR, you're killing it.
Yeah,
We had
that
such a
one was a
blast.
lot of fun. I feel like a lot of VR games are like shooters or
Hmm.
wave-based shooters. So whenever you get like a tower defense VR game, I'm like pleasantly surprised with it. And that one did a great job.
Yeah, you're just using the medium in a different way, and it's fun to kind of see
Yeah.
how people leverage. Like, I found myself trying to like lean over the flow, and like, obviously I
Yeah,
don't actually have
protect
a
it.
body in there, and I'm like, no, oh, I can't. Like, I have to use my hands to grab them and bat them away. Um,
Right.
but no, it was super
Yeah,
awesome.
great job to the
So
team who made that.
so Hot Dog Studios, you're killing it. All right. So our next special category was the less than 100 megabytes. You all
A challenge.
are magical. Like,
Yeah.
we were like, how many people do you think are actually going to get under like this 100 megabyte mark? Are we going to have a number of games? You go killed it. There were I didn't count, but there were way more less than 100 megabyte submissions than I ever expected, and
Yeah.
it blew my mind. You guys, I don't know, magic voodoo, removing all the parts of the engine that you needed to and all the unnecessary bits, like crushed it.
Like some master optimization
Yes.
artists.
Mm. So the less than 100 megabyte award for or best game under 100 megabytes goes to Symmetry Break with Super Snow. And
Woo!
yeah, where's our little like, yay? Be agitating again.
Need a
The little guy.
confetti
Let me bring it
overlay.
up real quick. So it's a super simple platformer, but it was. Hold on. Now that my game's gonna crap all over me. But it's actually like, I love the aesthetic here. This guy's like a quirky little creature. I'm also really terrible at playing when people are watching me, so this is real good for everybody. But it's just a nice. I love the simple, elegant design. You're playing with something different. Well, there we go. Uh, a lot of times people go straight for the 2D or the. I can use words. The 3D style in engine, you don't see like 2D leveraged as often, and
Yeah.
so to like make this fun, silly little game, but it's. I hate that you guys are watching me play this game right now. And trying to talk while do it is just not conducive to
Yeah.
anything. And I have to like wait for the platform to come back. But like I don't want to do it anymore.
You're doing great.
But they get
This game is hard.
way more challenging than this level that you're watching me like derp through right now. And you can collect the little baubles at the top, and I promise I got much further than this than you're seeing right now. But we'll just let it go. It's a nice, simple, elegant design. They have the circles you try to collect to get some extra points, and I just thought it was real charming, and the aesthetic is really nice and put together. So we just wanted to give a huge shout out to the Symmetry Break team. You're killing it. We like what you're doing. Keep up the great work.
Nice work.
Let's see. Next one was character design, which is a really challenging. You all had so many amazing characters that it was really hard to narrow down and pick. Like, there's lots of fun, silly designs and these crazy backstories, and it's like, okay, where do we go? How do we choose? Like, you guys.
Yeah, that was a challenging one.
So, through it all, we landed on Fever Dreams on Thin Ice with the Law for best character design. So I'm gonna ramp it up here. It's got a little nice intro that'll talk about this character. I'll let you get a feel for. Here we go. You ready? Is there any audio?
Yeah, you'll be surprised by the character in this one, I feel like. Definitely wasn't what I was expecting.
So I just love that setup. Like, I know it's not necessarily like that character speaking, but they've done a nice job like establishing who she is, what she does, and again, it's neat. I love seeing her character design, and then these penguins. They have such a like, come at me, bro, pose. But overall, even this game is just, it's really cool how they've set like the characters in this 2D animated plane versus this, simplistic 3D background, and get these pixelated effects for when you get hit, and very comic-esque with all the words and stylizations. I don't know.
Yeah, this one was cool. The contrast between the 2D and 3D I thought was really interesting. And I liked her animation a lot too, like her ponytail moves in the wind, and like the details are there.
Yeah, they definitely spent time trying to get that all sorted out. Oh my gosh, this penguin's being a jerk. This power and stuff. But yeah, they're just so like frumpy looking, and yeah, like the shading. I love the like bits of color that they've added. So she's not just this like plain uncolored character. Like, they actually, it fits in with the background, the color, the whole scheme helps tie her in, even though they are not, like they're not 3D like the background. And then I love how they've added a bigger sketch of her up here. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, there's art of her up there.
There she is. So, Lieutenant Ice. Look how cool she is. She's so rad. But yeah, so great job to Fever Dream Studios. We really loved Lieutenant Ice.
Nice work on that one.
She's pretty rad. Pretty rad. And then, all right. So those are, again, our special categories. So Hot Dog Studios with Raining Penguins VR, Symmetry Break with Super Snow, and Fever Dream Studios with On Thin Ice. And apparently it's based on a Norwegian saying, which I'm not going to even attempt to say, but apparently On Thin Ice with the law is some sort of colloquialism in Norwegian. The more you know. Who knew? So,
Not me.
you do now. All right.
I'm learning.
Learning things. So, on to our finalists. So, these folks will be getting a lot of similar things as the special categories, but they're also getting a 200 gigabyte Intel Optane SSD. All I know is that they're really, really fast. They told me so. Like, officially, they're real fast.
Super fast.
And then they also get the Houdini license, low entry packs. They get 2 assets from Silver TM, 2 assets from Panda Studios, another W3 pack. They'll get Whitman and Olbert 2 packs. The swag pack, you get the swanky Game Jam finalist forum badge with some shinies. And yeah, we're going to be tossing up a blog later, kind of recapping a number of the awesome projects that you're seeing today. So yeah, them things. On to our finalists. Dun, dun, dun. The first one that we're going to tell you about is Weekend Struggles Sneaky Love. Congrats, guys! I admit, when I read this for the first time, I was like, what am I getting into right now? It's like, what kind of game did they make? I'm a little concerned. And so, the premise of this game, well, here, you'll read it, and you'll see. It's pretty magical. So, here we go. Jumping in. And he's like, she's upset. You forgot Valentine's Day last year. How could you do that? He's like, of course I remembered that it's tomorrow. Now, obviously, this was a little more timely when the jam was happening. But
Right.
you actually forgot Valentine's Day. You just didn't want to fess up to it. But who better to be than a professional in stealing museum jewelry? So,
Of course.
yeah, obviously. So here we are. You jump in, and you're like, oh man, look, I'm so good, and I'm going to go steal all these things. Now, they have these nice creepy, like, or not creepy. Oh, good. I just got stuck in the laser. It's fine. Daniel's laughing at me. You can all laugh at me. It's fine. Let's not worry about that part, guys. Yeah, that was pretty rough. But so you're sneaking around. You have a little like dash. You can get in and you can slow time in case you're bad at dodging lasers like I am. And you can get in, steal some. I don't even know what that was, but it was jewelry, because I'm a pro at stealing jewelry from classy museums. So yeah, like if I was worried about that, you can slow time. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm really good at judging how to dodge this laser beam. Can you imagine walking to a museum and actually like seeing all these things up?
That'd be scary.
Oh, like let me not go there. So yeah, this corner's a little safer. If you run out in the middle, there's a lot of ridiculous things that you try to avoid. I'm about to get caught by like a camera. Yeah. So there's cameras up there, but I like their quirky humor too. It's like, oh, well, you're going to be in jail. Gosh, how could you miss Valentine's Day, you jerk? So
I like their interpretation of the theme. Like he's on thin ice with his girlfriend.
Right.
So he has to go commit crimes because of that.
She's kind of being a little snotty about it, but
yeah.
he's like, yeah, let me bring you this bag of jewelry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's cool to see some of the different, obviously, a lot of the ice themes are really cool, but seeing some of the different interpretations is really nice. So jumping in and just being like, oh, it's less about literally standing on ice, and it's like, oh, she might. Well, she's definitely mad at you, but who knows what she'll do. But
Right.
you're just taking it a different path, and it looked really nice. Like, it is this dark, creepy museum you've got going on, trying to avoid these, cameras and all that. So, really liked how you all set that up, and it's great. I dig it.
Nice work.
I dig it. Oh, good call. They're like, also ice, referring to diamonds and jewelry. Dig it.
Ooh, didn't even think of that.
Man, you guys.
Maybe the diamonds are really thin.
They're just tiny, slivered diamonds. They're not that valuable, but she won't know. It's fine. All right. So our next finalist is by a team that has no name, or team has no name, and it's Espionage. Because who doesn't love a good pun? So, you are this nice little penguin that's got like ice bits on him, and you're running around. I love the character designs. This was also a tough one to consider in that category. Because he's just running around, he's like, I need these eggs. And you can go into these little pits that take you to these secret areas. And your objective, you're trying to get enough eggs, or you have to get enough in your little basket. So I need 4 before I can go to the next level. And there's the bear. And I can distract him sometimes with fish. Oh, shoot.
Is that like a God of War bear?
It kind of looks like it, right?
He's got like face paint on
but you
or
can
something.
be like, hey, go chase that fish. Not me. Well, he didn't chase it. But, yeah, no, I love... Oh. There's a wall there. The level... There's just a number of different level designs. The characters are nice. It looks really wonderful overall. And it's... I like all the different elements that you have in there. Oh, good. I just attracted him. Here. Fish. Yeah, go get the fish. Isn't that great?
It was funny how many games used penguins as like the characters.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was probably the most popular character we saw in this game jam, which obviously it makes sense because they're on thin ice.
Right. That's where they live. They're in a perpetual state of being on.
Yeah, it's their home.
Yeah, so you can run around. You know, the levels get bigger and more complex. Let's see, where are these eggs at? And as you go on, like, some of the levels have multiple bears. The first time I was playing through this, I got stuck in this area over here with this egg. The bear just stood there next to the little spot where I had to jump out. And I hadn't started using the fish thing yet to distract him. I was like, oh, good. I'm just going to live in this wall forever now.
Just hide there. Yeah.
This is my life now. Yeah.
That's the funny part about playing Game Jam games is when you can find little bugs or like exploits.
Yeah.
Because obviously they haven't been play tested very much. So there are little ways to kind of cheat the game, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun one, and I think they did a good job overall.
Mm-hmm.
Just a complete package.
So good job. Good job to Team Has No Name. And we have one more finalist. And this was
the final finalist.
The final finalist. Feel like we should be playing the final countdown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be perfect. And it goes to Fireline with Icy as Hell.
Woo!
Which definitely was one
probably
of
my favorite game
overall.
Yeah.
The first time I jumped into it, I was like, "What is happening?" There's so much. It's a very fast-paced game.
It's creepy.
So you're running around and you're destroying your environment. So if you fall, you. Oh, okay. I just dead. Neat.
I didn't see that before. Yeah, the ice breaks wherever you walk, right?
Yeah.
So your level is constantly getting smaller. You can't. You can't stop, otherwise you'll fall through.
Yeah, there's Daniel's making fun of me not doing very well right now. So you
You
would
got those
normally
enemies
fall to the
trying to
next
get
level.
you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So yeah, you have all these different like crazy enemies in the level that are destroying the level. You have these things flying at you, and you just keep falling.
A lot of shooting. Oh yeah, they put those lasers in there. You
So
can jump over them, I think.
there's
Too.
a lot. Probably. Yep. Okay, but now I'm in
Yeah.
a corner, so that's fine.
Also, I was like, at one point, I was trying to just run the level in a circle that gets gradually smaller, so you can try to stay on that level as long as possible.
I tried doing that.
I come up with some weird strategies in this game that kind of seem to be working.
Yeah. Like
You
okay,
gotta be
just
shooting nonstop, pretty much.
yeah. Oop.
It kind of has a little bit of bullet hell to it with you're just shooting at those guys, they're trying to get you.
And yeah, so it's like you're constantly having to monitor these things flying around. Anytime there's something on the ice, I feel like it's rapidly destroying
Yeah.
your arena.
Well, the ice breaking effect is cool too.
And so it's
I
really well
wasn't sure if there
done.
was a way to beat this though. I think it might just go on forever.
I think it's yeah, like just longest play cycle
I
through,
played it for a while,
and they get harder,
and
right?
yeah,
As you
they start
go, it's
throwing
like
more and
more
more stuff at you.
enemies. And that's the thing, like if you're doing real bad at the beginning, it just gets worse for you.
Yeah.
um, I don't know, the top score on here, if you scroll up, it's like 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes,
Oh wait,
almost six
I saw my
minutes.
name.
Where are you
Sorry,
at?
is this an actual online leaderboard? I
I
put
think
my name
so.
in penis. Oh, I could score there. Uh,
You had to mention.
there I am,
I can see.
121.
I got to
Yeah,
right under you. Um,
I'm 1 second above you. Yes.
you would.
So I guess those
Um,
are all real people in there. I couldn't tell if they were like just had filled in some like fake times or if those were all real times. But
yeah, I don't
that's
know.
that's cool that it's an
I think it's
actual like
all
real
live,
leaderboard.
and so the fact that it's a nice touch that they've added that you have this additional leaderboard and just kind of be like, oh, who can survive the longest in this chaos of a level, and
Yeah,
we
I want to go back and play this one more actually.
it's
Try to
actually
get a better score.
really compelling, but it's where did all the oh yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes
I
I'm like,
think
is
the
it just better to
key
run in circles and not even shoot at them?
it is kind of yeah, and then just stay
Except
on
for
the
these
first level as
guys.
long as you can.
Like, you gotta get rid of them.
Yeah, I'd always take those guys out first.
And then
Then you just try to stay up there as
just
long as you
run.
can to
I
draw
kept
the
trying to
timeout.
jump on the side.
Yeah, I tried
Maybe I
that too.
can, like,
It doesn't work great.
they're smart developers and they put collision boxes there. Gosh. So, yeah. So, see, you can kind of.
There's a little bit of
Oh, gosh.
platforming to it in
Yeah.
jumping across the ice.
So. But you get it.
Yeah, that game was great.
Fireline.
Keep working on that one
Yeah.
and
We'd love to
release
see
it.
more. It's super, super rad. And we really liked what you're doing there. Um, but yeah, so to recap, we had our special category winners, Hot Dog Studios with Raining Penguins VR. We had Symmetry Break with Super Snow, Fever Dream Studios, On Thin Ice with The Law for Best Character Design, Weekend Struggles Sneaky Love, Team Has No Names Eggspionage, and Fireline Icy as Hell. So wonderful job. There were so many games that we we love. I really like this one actually that just came up. It's by the Incorrigible Rascals, and it's set up as a game show. So you're these office workers. You're taking your papers to your computer and like entering in the data, and then you have to go file it away. And like, and it's the whole like, oh, your boss is gonna be mad at you if you don't get enough work done. And I thought it was just a real. I loved the take on the theme, and
Yeah,
just
like
the
you're about
whole
to get
setup.
fired.
It's like you're on thin ice. It's almost the very Family Feud like style game.
Yeah.
What were some of your other favorites that you wanted to give a shout
Wow,
out to?
there was a lot of them. Uh, one was called Bleak, which was pretty awesome. Really great art. You're like this ball rolling around on the kind of an icy surface, and you have to collect these light orbs to advance.
Mm-hmm.
But like great audio and art, and definitely had an icy feel to it. Ice tanks, which is kind of like this top-down game where you're a tank,
Mm-hmm.
basically just shooting out ice, and you have enemy tanks coming at you that are trying to get you.
That
The
was
AI was really good on that
really
one.
hard
I
to
was
like
kind of, yeah.
hit the other
I
tanks
was
and
always
time it.
trying to shoot in front of the other tanks to knock the ice out, and they would just change direction, like they knew where I was going to shoot. So I was kind of impressed with the AI on that,
They're onto
and
you.
the art was good, and it was fun as well. Monkey Puck,
Oh yeah.
Monkey Puck was pretty awesome. Great character design in Monkey Puck. So it's monkeys on inner tubes on an ice playing hockey, basically. The
Yes.
controls were a little tricky to use, but that kind of added to
Yeah. You
the
could
fun of it.
paddle
It was
forward
like
with either arm
triggers
or
and
backward,
bumpers.
and
Yeah,
then there was a boost. But yeah, you're
and there
just
was a
like
boost.
vegging out in the center tube, like I'm going for
Yeah.
that puck. It was really hard to hit
So
that puck though.
it was hard. It was hard. But then if you did score, you were like super stoked about it.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So that yeah, there was one called Cyro Christ, which was multiplayer
Yeah.
kind of battle with these little robots. But it was cool. The character design on that was cool because the robots could like sprout legs and then you start walking kind of like a spider or something,
Yeah.
or they could hover and you're battling another. There was a lot of games where it was trying to knock the ice out from under
Hmm.
an enemy or another player. So that was an interesting kind of game mechanic, which worked pretty well for most of them.
I think the game you
So yeah,
cryo, I think it was Cryo Christ and
Cryo
Creation,
Christ.
um, Creation was the team that did it, and it was actually another
Yeah.
title. Pretty confident it was also under 100 megabytes, and they did a
Oh
really good
wow.
job of leveraging like it was very minimalistic but stylized enough that it looked very complete despite
Yeah.
being
It
a
looked
very
good.
minimal game. So it looked really good. Those characters were cool. Um, yeah, they'd get
That's a
stuck and
surprise.
they had fun
Yeah.
animations on them.
Yeah. That's another one to keep working on because that was if you could have that as a networked multiplayer game, maybe
Hmm.
with more players, people would love it because it
Yeah,
was fun.
I
There was
was.
one I liked called was pretty simple, but it was called Winter Playgrounds, which was basically painting lines of ice and then
Yeah.
putting down walls to direct a ball to a goal. So it's like a very physics-based thing where it's like, okay, let's draw a line of ice, see where the ball goes, put a wall to block it so that it bounces,
Yeah.
kind of try that over and over, but it was the physics worked well on it and just
Hmm.
painting ice was kind of fun.
You're like, oh,
And then
here's
the last
snow.
one, yeah, anytime you're painting stuff on a surface, I get kind of like zen in it. Last one was called Seal Downhill,
Oh
which
yeah.
had great art, which I think they used assets from the marketplace or something. But it was basically kind of a side scroller where you're controlling a seal uh, along these icebergs, and then there's if you go in the water, there's these killer whales that come
Yeah.
at you. Uh, that one it looked really good and it was fun, and
Hmm.
the physics on it were cool too because you kind of flip yourself and then launch off these icebergs.
Yeah.
So yeah, Seal Downhill is another one to play.
I think there's
And then, of
one.
course, almost all the other ones I played were awesome too. It's hard to pick any
There's
number of them.
there's a lot of amazing. One that made me laugh. So Danger 5, I think it's beaten side, and you're in a on a sled and you're trying to pull
That was
yourself
VR, right?
along. Yeah. And so
Yeah,
you're sitting on a sled and the idea is that you can pull yourself along the ice with hammers and then you're trying to like knock
yeah.
the ice out and make them fall into the water. That was just such a goofy. I loved that. It was so silly. Um, did you play? So there was Blink. Blink was a good one
Yeah,
too, where so
yeah,
you were like throwing this snowball like thing, and then when you hit the button, you would teleport over to it and land on the platform.
right.
And so it's very Portal-esque in the puzzle kind of way, but it was a really
Hmm.
challenging game. I found it's so
Yeah,
difficult to try and like time, like, because the as soon as you get to the next platform, it starts breaking, and so like
yeah.
figuring
You have
out
to
the
hurry.
exact
Yeah,
thing on there was good. But yeah, there were so many. There was one that cracked me up where you were two bears. A lot of you did multiplayer games, which was really cool to see. And you're these bears, and you're like duking it out, but you would like go eat fish in the ocean to like make your swim speed faster, your walk speed faster. But then you'd like go find the seals in the scene and eat them if you needed more help, or that was your objective. So I'm sorry. So you're just like, I had to eat more seals than you, and then you'd like just go like hit them with a stick,
Yeah.
and it was just like, what is going on? So
There's a good amount of games that involved Arctic animals.
yes.
Like I mentioned, penguins, but then there's a good amount of games with like polar bears, fish, seals. So it's fun to see all that type of stuff too.
Yeah. Even the one playing right now, like you're a goat. Your main character is a
Yeah.
goat, and you're knocking out multiplayer, like trying to knock the ice out from underneath them. But it was just really funny to see this goat character. You guys are
Yeah, you don't see
super
them in the
silly.
snow that often, but why not? There's probably snow
Winter
goats
snow
somewhere,
goats,
right?
probably. That's not. I think so. I think so. But yeah, we just want to make sure, like, give a shout out. There's so many great games, and I hope you all had a great time. We always love seeing what you do. We love being able to play them. You know, there will be another jam this spring. So if you have any feedback for us, what kinds of, you know, parts of the
One other
process, we're
thing,
always open to that.
one thing I should mention, I didn't get a chance to actually stream the games this time, but on Twitter there was some guy who said he was going to play and stream them all. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
I
Let
think
me.
his name is Ricardo. I'm not totally sure, but if you guys want to see the playthroughs, find that guy's Twitch and
But
watch
give
his
me
stream,
just a
or maybe
second.
you can link it or something.
Um,
Because he said on Twitter that he was going to play all of them.
that's
So
yeah.
yeah,
So it's Randolph Espejo. I'll link his tweet so you all
so
can
not
follow
Ricardo,
it.
Randolph.
No. Here, I'm dropping it in chat to that message. He's playing through all of them, and
Which if and I say anybody out there who likes to stream games, any game jam, Epic Game Jam, Global Game Jam, any of those, you can have hundreds of games to play that nobody's ever seen before. So and it's really fun to like play them and stream from the very first time you play it, so you don't know what you're gonna get, and craziness ensues usually. So if anybody out there likes streaming, I would highly recommend streaming the Game Jam games.
yeah. Well, and it's cool to see like what people are, you know, those honest reactions, and especially with Game Jam games, you get a lot of like new. Um, that's where people experiment or try new ideas that maybe they wouldn't do in a normal setting, but they're like, hey,
Yeah,
it's just a weekend. I'm gonna do this quirky, fun, silly idea, and yeah, knock it out. So
yeah, for sure.
um, that's all we've got for you this week. So again, thank you, Ben, for joining the stream and helping us judge all the games. Um,
Yeah,
all the
my
games are
pleasure.
available up on the original forum post where we announced the jam and all that. So if you're interested in trying any of this out, and I definitely recommend you do, go download them. They're there. They're available. Uh, as
They're free. They
always,
don't cost any money.
right? Free games.
Free
Um,
games.
you know, let us know if you have feedback for us. Check out your local UE4 meetups, meetup.com/pro/Unreal Engine. We'll get you hooked up with all of those sites around the world, and submit your projects to the NVIDIA Edge program. We love seeing them, and I want to send a GTX 1080 Ti your way. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.